I'm Filipino, and my husband is Chinese. His mom didn't approve of me from the beginning, and even told him that Filipinos are only meant to be maids. Initially, my husband defended me. He even threatened to cut ties with her if she tried anything, so she backed off. He proposed, and that's when trouble slowly started again. She was absolutely not happy with the marriage. My sister-in-law told me that my mother-in-law said she didn't expect us to last too long because she anticipated my husband coming to his senses about me being a Filipino. She tried to jeopardize our wedding, threatened not to come, and even told our guests that there was a typo in our invitation card, giving them the wrong date. Luckily, they confirmed the date with us. My husband waved it off, saying that his mom is just scared for him, and I should understand because she grew up in a very traditional home. That should have been my first red flag, but I was too in love with him to notice. A month ago, I was 8 months pregnant, and my husband insisted on going to his mother's house for a family reunion. I didn't want to go because of the baby, and I was so exhausted from work, but he insisted because his mom would not take no for an answer, so I ended up going. During dinner, I started feeling weird and lightheaded. I told my husband about it, but he waved me off, telling me to go up to his old room and lay down. I insisted that this was different, and we should go to the hospital just in case. His mom cut me off and told me not to ruin their dinner, instructing me to shut up and go upstairs. I gave my husband a look and said, "Are you really going to let her talk to me like that?" And he just shrugged and told me to calm down. I knew something was wrong, so I called my dad to come and bring me to the hospital. I felt like I was floating, like my body was numb and I wanted to puke, like I could faint on the spot if I just wanted to. My dad arrived, and I left without letting them know. They didn't care, so why should I? At the hospital, they ran some tests, and I don't know how else to say this, but my baby's heartbeat stopped. I was told the chances at this point of the pregnancy were so low, that effectively, my baby was gone. The doctors also said they found multiple substances in my system and my BAC was not normal, but I don't take substances and I don't drink. My sister-in-law later told me she saw my mother-in-law adding something extra to my portion of the food and drinks. My husband refuses to believe that and sides with his mother, saying I must have taken something accidentally. Even though his sister told him what she told me, he still doesn't believe it. Regardless, I reported it to the police, with my sister-in-law as my witness. I pressed charges, and I will not stop until she's behind bars. I told some of my closest friends about it, and they said I'm wrong for wanting to divorce him, but how can I be with someone who doesn't side with me on this? He refuses to believe his mom is the reason our baby is gone forever. He hasn't even acknowledged that she's gone. All he cares about is clearing his mom's name, and I'm devastated. Edit. Some have asked why my sister-in-law didn't tell me beforehand that my mother-in-law added something to my food and drinks. She came to me afterward, crying, saying she didn't realize it at the time and only connected the dots after she found out what happened. She's only 17, and I believe she was really scared of going against her mom. My husband was always the favorite child in their family growing up and she's always hated her mom. As for the toxicology screening, there were high levels of 3 different substances in my body. Regarding my friends who told me I was wrong, they are also close to my husband. They said it was unfair because he also lost a child, even though I told them he seemed to care more about clearing his mother's name than my baby. Lastly, I may be a Filipina, and he is Chinese, but that doesn't automatically mean we're living in the Philippines or China. I purposely did not disclose my country for privacy reasons. If I do, people will hunt the article down, which includes my identity along with my family's. I know I'm posting here for all to read, but what makes me feel safe is the anonymity of it all. I feel safe because people can't find out who I am, which is not any different from the majority of people on this app. Again, I know I don't owe anyone an explanation, but my life has been a living hell, and I have no control over anything now. Update 1. I'm overwhelmed by all the support I've been getting, thank you everyone. What happened to me was horrifying, and I still can't believe it. Some people are saying I'm not showing enough emotion for this to be real, but how am I supposed to sound? Some people can't understand that some emotions are too strong and too deep and cannot be translated into words alone. I may not be kicking and screaming in my post, but I have been kicking and screaming since that night. I'm not going to write out a detailed account of what happened that night just to appease people. Isn't it bad enough that my child suffered? For all who are saying that my husband is part of it, I cannot comment on this. Frankly, I do not know yet at this point. I don't want to speculate that he is, because that only makes it hurt more. I loved him, and thinking that he'd be capable of doing this breaks my heart. Some ask why I didn't taste any substances. That's because I literally didn't. If I knew, I would have stopped eating and drinking, but the moment I felt off, I voiced it out. I was pregnant, and some food would taste different to me, so I didn't think much of it at that point. I didn't think that my life would ever be in danger. I knew my mother-in-law hated me, but I did not know she would ever try something like this. As for the update, it's been the most horrible and excruciating few weeks of my life, and it's finally almost over. My mother-in-law couldn't get away, thanks to my sister-in-law's testimony, and evidence was also found in their home. She finally confessed after a month, and she has received a deletion sentence this morning, because what she did is not taken lightly in our country. Her son is claiming he has nothing to do with it and will receive no punishment since there is no proof. I truly don't know if he was involved or not, but I cannot be around him ever again. I have not spoken privately with him since that night, and now I only communicate with him through lawyers. My sister-in-law is currently living with a close relative. She is safe, and I know some of you are concerned for her well-being. As for me, I am living with my parents again. I honestly couldn't have gotten through this without them. They are truly my rock. My family has advised me to sue him for everything he and his family have put me through, because this was just demonic. I don't understand how a grandmother can do this, just because my baby was a girl and not pure Chinese. I've heard stuff like this happens in China, but we are not living there. Why bring your close-minded ideologies and traditions here? Why did my baby have to pay the price for this? I don't know how people continue life after the loss of a child. Her funeral is next week. Rest in peace, my love. Mommy loves you and we'll see you soon. Update 2. It's been a few months since I've posted, but his mother is still alive, and I cannot sleep at night. Things have been crazy and overwhelming the past few months. I thought things were over all those months ago, but apparently, getting a divorce from that vile woman's son took a lot longer than expected. There were so many delays, but now I finally truly have no more ties with that man. That hateful woman is still alive, but in jail. She was sentenced to be deleted all those months ago, but I have no idea when it's going to happen, and part of me does not want to know as well. My ex-husband, to this day, truly believes his mom is innocent despite his own sister being my witness. And still, we cannot prove if he was in on it, so he continues to walk free. My life has just been a roller coaster ride, and I don't think I'm ever getting off. Losing a child is something I do not wish on anybody. I've been trying to live normally, but it's hard. I was thinking I may have depression, but I've also seen people say that depressed individuals do not openly admit they're depressed, that they tend to suffer in silence. I don't know, I just know that I'm not happy. Yes, I got a divorce, and yes, she's in jail and paying for what she did to me, but I'm not happy, and I don't think I'll ever be truly happy again. My ex tried to talk to me last week, the first time since the incident. He just showed up at my parents' house one day out of the blue. My mom was home and answered the door, and she basically slammed the door in his face and didn't let him come near me. I'm grateful she did that, but I can't stop feeling like I need to know what he wanted to say to me. It's like I need a reason to scream at him. I haven't truly let out my feelings towards him. I want to scream and shout and just do things I can't put into words because I have no closure. I don't know if it's worth talking to him one last time. I don't know what to expect. Part of me is telling me I need to stay away and forget everything, but another part of me wants to know if our child meant anything to him or not, if he even loved her or not, if he truly is a monster, or just really blinded. Regardless, this will be my last update. There were so many who were very kind and gave me really good advice, and I thank you all.